Second half of section 7.2 is dividing rational expressions. So we already multiplied them and now we're going to divide them. And guess what? When you very first started doing math, then multiplication was tricky and then division was trickier. Guess what? When you're multiplying and dividing fractions, it's so similar that I hardly even changed the list of steps. Here's what happens. When you're dividing, what I did was I took exactly the same steps. I didn't even erase my steps for multiplying. When you're dividing, you're going to add a step at the very beginning. Before you begin, what you're going to do is you're going to flip the divisor, which is the second fraction, and then change your problem to multiplication. So step one is to flip the second fraction, turn it to multiplication, and then you follow exactly the same steps that we did before. You're going to factor each numerator and denominator, divide out any numerator with a matching denominator, and then multiply any remaining factors numerator by numerator and denominator by denominator. And we should put on here that this is dividing. Okay, so let's do some. We're going to divide this. And so what we're going to do first is we're going to rewrite it and we're going to say negative 9x squared y over 28z cubed times, and then flip the divisor, 7z over 12y. So do you see I kept the first fraction the same, I flipped the second one, and now I'm going to multiply. And now if you would like, if you've got your paper, you can go further that way. It might be easier to see. What I'm going to have to do is come down here. So 9 factored out is 3 times 3. So now I'm doing step 2, which is factoring each numerator and denominator. So 3 times 3 times x times y. We're going to put that all over 28. And now what you're going to do with 28 is you're going to say, well, that's 4 times 7, and 4 is 2 times 2. So we've got 2 times 2 times 7. Times 1, 2, 3 z's. And you're going to multiply this by 7 times z is already pretty much factored. 12 is, what's 12? 3 times 4, and 4 is 2 times 2. So 12 is 2 times 2 times 3 times y. Now you've got all your parts and pieces. So anything, now look, you've got lots and lots of 2's, but they're all in the denominator. If they're all in the denominator, you can't cancel them. You got to cancel one with the top and one with the bottom. So we've got a 3 here. Ooh, and I like to use a different color so you can see it. 3's will cancel. And an x, oh, there's no x's. Oh, there's a y. The y's will cancel. The 7's will cancel. Oh, look, and there's a z, and that will cancel with that z. I don't have any more 3's on the bottom, and I don't have any more x's. So now the last step is to multiply any remaining factors. So I'm going to multiply across 3 times x, and there's nothing left here. So 3x squared over 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, times 2 is 16. And 2z's, so z squared. This is a 2 and that's a z, and that is your final answer. All right? So it's just exactly the same thing we did in the last section, except that you need to remember to flip. Oh, guess what else I didn't remember? I remembered in the first step, I brought my negative. Don't forget to go back and check. Are my signs the same or different? Don't lose your negative. The signs are different, a negative times a positive, so my answer is negative. That makes the whole thing wrong, all right? If you don't have your sign right. So if the signs are the same, your answer is positive, even if they're both negative. If the signs are different, your answer is negative. Same rules apply with multiplying. Okay, as did before. So let's do another one. If you think, oh yeah, I think I got this, go ahead and pause it and do it, all right? We're going to keep the first one, 2x minus 10 over 15x cubed. Is my head in the way? Division changes to multiplication and flip. So 12x over x squared minus 5x. And now we factor. So be careful. 2x minus 10, anytime there's a minus involved, a plus or a minus involved, you're going to have those binomials. So you can look to see, oh, well, 2 will come out of here, but you can't split these up because that minus kind of holds them together. It's like glue. So 2 times x minus 5, because 2 times 5 is your 10, over 15 is 3 times 5 times 1, 2, 3 x's. And now we're going to multiply by 12. We said was 2 times 2 is 4 times 3 is 12 times an x over x squared minus 5x. Once again, this is a minus, so we can't split this up, but there's an x in both. So x times x minus 5. Now we go through and we cancel what will. 2, oh, there's no 2's on the bottom, doggone it. Okay, but there's a whole x minus 5, so that whole thing can cancel. Remember, the binomial has to match completely. No more 2's. There's a 3 and one of the x's. And so now just go through and multiply. 2 times 2 is 4 times 2 is 8 over 5. And there's 1, 2, 3 x's involved, so x to the 3rd power, and you're done. Let's do one more. Here we go. Now, this one is longer and scarier looking, but it's exactly the same thing. I don't have enough room to go outward, so let's just go downward. Remember, the first fraction stays the same, 12x squared plus 3x over 2x squared plus 3x minus 9 times 6x cubed. Remember to flip this, plus 18x squared over 4x squared plus 9x plus 2. So don't forget to flip the second one. That's going to mess you all up if you don't do that. Okay, now we're factoring. So 3 will come out. Oh, not just the 3 though. Look, 3 and an x. 3x will come out. And so we have 4x left here plus, oh, plus just 1. Don't forget, if that whole 3x comes out, you still need a placeholder. All right, so that has to be 4x plus 1 all over, oh boy. So this is a trinomial, and there's nothing in common, so this is going to be one of this type. And as I'm writing down here, I want to make sure that you can see, so hang with me. Oh yeah, we're doing good. Okay, I'm writing kind of small, so zoom in. All right, so this and this are matching up, so we're going to need a 2x times x. The signs have to be different, and I don't know which one is positive and which one is negative, so we'll just put them here and we can trade them if we need to. And now the 9 is probably 3 times 3. You think? Let's try it. 3 times 3. 2 times 3 is 6. 3 times 1 is 3. 6 minus 3 is going to be a net. The 6 is bigger, so a negative 3x, and I need it to be positive. So that's why I have my handy dandy eraser here. Now I've got positive 6 minus 3 is positive 3. Done. Now we're going to multiply by this. 6 is in common with both, so we're going to take a 6 out. Oh, and x squared is in common. So 6x squared comes out. There's an x left here, plus 6 times 3, and x squared already came out, so we're done. And now down here, oh dear. Okay, so this one is also a binomial, and I'm going to start, watch this, I'm going to start at the end because I know one is a 2 and one is a 1, and I know this is positive. Both of them are positives, and we've got x's. And so now I can either have a 1 and a 4 or a 2 and a 2. So let's just try, we know this is going to be 9, so it's going to be bigger. So let's try putting the 4 here so that it multiplies by the 2 and the 1 here. And we don't even need the 1, huh? Because we already have an x. Okay, so now we've got 4x times x is 4x squared. 2 times 1 is 2. 1x and 4 and 4 is 8x. So 1 plus 8 is 9x. Ta-da! We got them. All right, so once again, the hardest part of these is the factoring. So if you get factoring already, easy sneeze, you're good to go. So now we're going to look through and see there are no constant terms on the bottom, so we can't reduce any of those. Our 4x plus 1 matches completely, 4x plus 1, and x plus 3 matches an x plus 3 completely. So now what we need to do is we need to multiply straight across. So 6 times 3, 6 times, oh, let's do it this way. 6 times 3 is 18. X times x squared is x cubed. And I'm going to have to write really small because I've got this times this. And now you can multiply through first outside, inside, last, and do FOIL and get just a trinomial. You don't have to, all right? Just leave those factors there. So 2x minus 3 and x plus 2. All right, can you see that? Is it too small? All right. So that's all you do on that type is just don't forget to flip the second fraction, and then it's just factoring and canceling. Too crazy fun. Okay, one more thing I want to cover today, and that is using a great big word. I want to use dimensional analysis to convert measurements. All right, so while you write that down, I'm going to locate my eraser. There it is. All right, so we're going to convert measurements using dimensional analysis. The way we're going to do that is we're going to set up proportions using equivalent amounts. We're going to set up proportions and so that the desired unit of measure will be left, and then simplify by canceling. Let me do some and then it'll make perfect sense. All right, we're going to use these units of measure. We know that 16 ounces equals a pound. We know that 5,280 feet equals 1 mile. And we know that 3 feet equal a yard. I'm going to do these two problems using dimensional analysis to show you what I mean by setting up these proportions. So if you have a problem that says, I have 500 ounces, and I want to know how many pounds is 500 ounces. And now you may already know exactly, oh, I know exactly, I divide and multiply. Sometimes I have a hard time knowing, do I multiply? I know that to get from ounces to pounds, 16 is my number, and I'm either going to multiply or divide, but I don't always know which way to go. So here's a quick and easy way to know. I know that this is 500 ounces over 1. And I know that, if I multiply by ounces on the bottom and pounds on the top, that my ounces will cancel out. The units of measure, we can cancel out units of measure also because they match exactly. So ounces will cancel out, leaving me, if I multiply across, with just pounds. So if I can use my equivalency, 16 ounces equals 1 pound, 1 pound equals the 16 ounces. So now, when I multiply straight across, I get 500 over 16 pounds. And so then I can just put into my calculator. Now I know, oh, I divide. So then I just put into my calculator 500 divided by 16, and that is roughly 31.25 pounds. All right? Not too bad. You can do this. All right, let's do another one. This one's going to be a little bit trickier because I'm going to have 6 miles, and I want to change that to yards. And I'm going to use a different color just so that it's easier to see against the green over there. Okay, so I've got 6 miles, and I want to get to yards. Now, here's the deal. I don't have miles to yards in my equivalencies. I do have miles to feet, so I can say, well, I know that 5,280 feet are in 1 mile. And if I put the mile on bottom, now see, the first time I had the number on the bottom, and well, that's because I care mostly about the unit of measure. I wanted my unit of measure, I wanted the miles to be on bottom so that the miles will cancel out. All right, now I'm into feet, but I want it to go to yards. So now I can use, well, I happen to know that 3 feet equal a yard. So if I put the feet on bottom here, then my feet are going to cancel out, and then I will end up with yards, which is what I wanted. So put your 3 feet equals 1 yard. And now, when you multiply, you're going to multiply 6 times 5,280. And did I do that? No, I didn't. Oh, wait, you know what? You can also cancel. Check this out. Because you've got 3 and 6. 6, remember, is 2 times 3. So now you just have 2 times 5,280. And that is 10,000. Oh, I should be able to do that in my head. 560 yards. All right? Does that make it easier? Or are you saying, oh, you took something that I thought was easy and you made it hard? It could go either way. Different people think different ways. And so if this helps you, oh, yay, then great. And if it doesn't, then try to do it this way a couple of times. And then as soon as this test is over, you can go back to doing it the way you like to do it. All right, here we go. If this is a struggle for you and you're still not getting it, talk to me in class and we'll see what we can do for you. And I will talk to you later.